I saw something for the first time, Nick, in 2 years. It was a RS6 Avant in a green that you would have loved. It was very close to a British racing green.
Yes, that's a great color on that car.
And I believe it's called, I tried pulling it up because there's two really good ones. There's oak green metallic and deep green pearl. And I think both of those are Porsche colors that you can exclusively find on the RS6 Avants, which is,
Look, we've kind of said this a lot about the RS6 Avant. I can't believe you don't see them more often. I see them, I would say probably, a couple times a month. I'll see them. I'll see them a couple times a month. I don't know if I'm seeing the same one because I always forget what color I saw last time. Yeah. So maybe I'm just seeing the same guy that's like driving around my area. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look, we've kind of said this a lot on this podcast is that we're always just surprised that there are not more of them. And I know they didn't make, hundreds of thousands, 500,000 a year. And I get all that. But again, I think they're great cars, man. They look great. They have that mean presence. And I did see 2 Audi all-road station wagons out of the blue today driving on the freeway.
That's cool.
I noticed them right away. I'm like, no tint on any of the windows with one of them. That dude's definitely a serial killer. Definitely.
Dude, I was driving with my wife and I was like, this no tint. Ever since Nick pointed this out to me, I didn't even notice because I just didn't. So many people have no tint. You got to tell me, is this like a ceramic tint thing that they just might have like clear ceramic tint on more cars?
Well, I mean, look, you can put clear ceramic tint on things, but I mean, to me, you got to be a serial killer to want to drive around in a fishbowl. I don't.
Vegas or Texas.
Texas. I mean, if you get sun, Florida, the whole like, what is it? The Mason-Dixon line down. It's like you guys need some freaking tint. But I mean, so the guy's driving. He's got 2 kids in the back. He's got a wife. There's 4 people in there sitting in the fishbowl. I'm like, that family might not make it. This might be the end for them. Looks like there's some miles on it. He might have had enough. Like this is going to be a murder-suicide thing. Like what's up with the no? I can kind of understand the 2 front windows thing because there's a lot of places around the country that get real funky about windshield tint, front 2-door tint. All tint laws are real crazy some places. But if you have a wagon or you have an SUV, to not have the back at least, with a little tint, I just don't understand it.
Listen to me. We're driving home from, we had a birthday outing. This is like a week and a half ago or so. And we're driving back to outskirts of Austin. And the car in front of me, I could see the road through his windshield from the back as clear as I could in my car. And that's when I noticed it. I told my wife, I was like, oh my God, I can see the road through this car, both windshields, the back and the front clearer than I.
Last time me and Rob were together, dude, this guy had a big body Benz just fishbowled. I'm like, Rob, this guy is crazy.
And then there was an SVR, there was a Range Rover with the same thing.
It was nuts. I mean, it freaks you out if you've never been to like Europe. Like when I went to Scotland, you'll see these like nice Range Rovers. Fishbowl, and I'm like, wow, that is crazy to see.
It kills the look, it kills the vibe. I mean,
yeah, it's not a vibe. That is not a vibe in a meme right there. If you got no tint on a big SUV on the back windows.
Chat, make the meme. I'm gonna start saying that. Make the meme. That's not.
Make one of those Yeti videos if you would, please.
Please. Driving in a car with no tint, please. Thanks, chat. That's ridiculous, man. But let me ask you, since we're talking about it, I just got, I got the car back from the hail damage, and I got a new windshield. Should I? Because believe it or not, I've never had anything on my front windshield as far as.
Got to do it.
Really?
Got to do it. So give everybody the piece of advice here.
Please.
When you buy tint, never buy anything except for ceramic window tint. Everything else is pointless. I know it's cheaper. It's pointless.
I did learn.
You're looking for heat and UV blockage. It's all ceramic tint. If I were you, and I don't know what the tint laws in Texas are, I think they're pretty lenient.
Relaxed.
I think you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I got limo in the back, and the fronts have to be.
So yeah, man, just go as dark as you can. Be careful; it gets hard to see out of. Let's not be foolish, okay? You're of those ages. Yeah. That was cool when you were 21. You go, okay, I'm gonna act crazy. You're a little older now. Got some kids.
For sure.
Yeah, just get everybody. I don't care where you live. Just for the summer. If you care about your car and you're going to keep your car, like let's say you have a Porsche that's vintage, get your front windshield tinted. It protects the dash. For all you Ferrari vintage owners who've dealt with the sticky dash and buttons, get you some tint on that front windshield.
Oh, that's
okay.
Right. It must
crack dash. So look, it's one of those things, man. Like once you have it and you experience what it's like, and you get in a car without it, you go, yeah, this is way worse. Like,
I did.
It's
So I took
crazy.
your advice a long time ago, and the wife's has ceramic all the way around. Mine does as well, and she did. We did her front windshield not too long ago. I want to say there were like two levels of ceramic. Is that true, or is there typically just like?
Yeah, yeah. You like there's a really elite level. Well, everybody will have an opinion on this, and just so everybody's clear, I don't care about much about tint. Okay, so I don't. It's not a big passion project of mine. Okay,
Even though
but
we did a full
there's something
video.
called crystalline from 3M that's like really heavy duty tint. But every brand usually has grades of ceramic.
Mhm.
If you go to a high end shop and they're doing good work, I always tell people they're going to be pretty upfront with you and go, hey, this ceramic tint is good and this ceramic tint is better. And some guys are going to be like, hey, for your application, I don't think you go all the way to the top. I think the car this, car that, the greenhouse of the car. And some guys are going to say, unlike a Tesla, hey, man, there's a lot of glass on this thing.
Right.
You might want to get the best one you can. Everybody's different. Again, if you're in the Midwest, do you have to go all the way, to the top end, of like a city I grew up in just outside of Columbus? No, man, you're not getting hit with the UV rays 365 days. In Texas, I think you splurge for the high end tint.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You mentioned a word there that's on my notes here. We got to talk about it, and I think it's something around. We got to call it like the test drive dilemma or something to that effect, because I've actually seen more videos. Boza and Benzes and Bowties. I always forget his name. Doug, he does some videos here recently, or he's done some where he's mentioned in passing, and you almost don't even notice it, that like they drove the car and they didn't test drive it. Now they need us to get him out of this deal. Kind of just,
Yes.
overlooks it. But that sentiment has come from a lot of these car creators where like they didn't drive the car, or they only drove it in the parking lot or something like that. They don't like it anymore. We got to get him out of this deal. And I wanted to bring that up because, to keep people in the loop on the last episode, I had a friend text me about the Panamera. She bought it, dude. That next day. Test drove it that afternoon.
I figured. Yeah, once she
morning,
said Panamera, she was done.
she was in, yeah. And it
Yeah.
was her husband that
It's a
sent me
great car.
he was like, dude, we did a thing. I was like, hell yeah, congratulations.
Yep. And by the way, Nick told me that's where you were going to end up 6 months
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
when we had this conversation.
100 people don't know. Nick was like, it's gonna be a Panamera or a Blackwing. Like, that's it.
That's
Based on
it.
what you
There's
want.
not what she wanted. There's not 17 options. Like
No.
she wasn't big body Benz territory.
No.
She wasn't big body BMW territory. She was she was in this real kind of small footprint, and I'm glad, man. Look, she's gonna love the hell out of driving the Panamera around.
For sure. So speaking of test drive, now you have on the other side of that people that are not test driving cars, or we're even getting messages from people that like, hey man, we're so glad that we test drove the cars.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most fascinating things that's come out of us talking about test driving
Yeah.
is how many DMs, emails, messages we're getting where people go, we thought we wanted this, we thought we wanted this, we thought we wanted this, we went and drove this, and this, hated them. So glad we test drove them because we weren't going to test drive them. When you say this kind of stuff, I know there's people that listen to this, and we say this kind of often is, just because you do something doesn't mean everybody else does it, right? For 15 years, I've been watching people buy cars that they think they're going to love, and they don't, and they're in a dilemma. And they go, well, I just got this thing, and, what do I do now? And it's like, well, we can finagle a deal, but you're going to have some negative, and yeah, let's finagle a deal. And then I always go, well, when you test drove it, where'd you drive it? Oh, I didn't test drive it. I didn't do this. And I go, oh, okay. It's your money. It's
Wild.
everybody's money. We got to keep repeating that evidently for the comment section on the internet.
Yeah.
I understand it's your money. I'm giving you best case scenario here. Go drive the vehicles that you just assume for some reason you're going to like. I don't know. I don't assume I'm going to like any vehicle.
Yeah.
So I guess that I don't have that mindset. It's harder for me to understand. But guys, when I tell you, go in unbiased, don't fall in love with the car, just be really honest about driving the car around. Almost 100 out of 100 times, you're never going to end up with the car you think you're going to end up with.
In all fairness, I think listeners at this point know that Nick probably doesn't think he's going to like anything he eats, sees, drives by,
No,
experiences.
100%. No, but here's the thing. That's why I'm also never like a customer that complains. I'm never
Right.
like a guy
Never let
that
down.
has, I just go, hey man, this is what it is. I paid $5 for this hamburger. It's a $5 hamburger.
Yeah.
Right?
Who would've
Like,
thought Tesla can't make a good burger. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, wow, these fries aren't very good. I mean, I'm surprised. Can they put that on the battery a little longer? I mean, they're not crispy enough, you know?
How can you put it on
But
the battery?
I mean, here's the crazy thing for me is there's some of these things that we take for granted that we do that we can't take for granted. I always know when I'm buying a car, sight unseen, or I'm not in person, or I'm buying it across the country, that I'm accepting some responsibilities. And I'm going, hey, this could get here, and I got a sound system issue that the people didn't, tell me about. And I got to handle it. I don't lose. I go, they should have told me, but I bought it from across the country. I didn't really analyze the sound system. I didn't really, all good. I'm going to get it handled. So I don't want people to think I just go, I'm going to hate it. I just accept what this is. There's a very big difference. I don't hate anything. I just accept what I think things are, and I don't get bent out of shape about them.
Hate's such a strong word, but I think people already and for a while have hated the car market, the car buying experience, even the car owning experience. Insurance is high, parts are expensive, labor's expensive, all that kind of stuff. And the more I do research on what the market looks like, it might be, in the near future, which you can never really tell. We're all just kind of reading stuff that put together. They're like, okay, that might be a good thesis or theory or whatever, but we just don't know. But at the same time, I think on the podcast here, like almost helping people brace for what's to come is really important, like the winning at the dealership. We've talked about that several times, and I've been seeing a lot of videos, too, from these creators where the customers get mad because, and then the people are even saying, like, I know you want to feel like you won, which I didn't used to hear salespeople or anybody tell the customer that, like, I know you want to win at this exchange. And the truth of the matter is, with the prices and the way things are going, if you ever thought you won before, you're probably not going to think you win anytime in the future. That's just what it's looking like.
Yeah. And look, we have some pretty dire numbers out of the European brands. I mean, it looks like they're having real tough years. I mean, and they're charging what they're charging, and they're still having tough years because of a lot of the global stuff going on. I would look at this and I'd go, I say it all the time. When you walk into a dealership, as long as you don't buy all the foolishness, you can get the best deal you can get on that car. Okay. Now, if you want to tell me I'm going to go buy this car from a private party, it's got 120,000 miles. Okay, man, we're talking about newish cars at a dealership usually, whether it's slightly used or actually new. There's some things you have to accept now. And I think that's what I'm seeing on the internet when people are sharing things. We shared a video in the past where a guy lost all this money on a Tesla. And he's like, well, what happened? And the guy's like, it's not 3 years ago. I mean, what do you mean? I don't really make the rules. Here's the book. Here's what they're going for at auction. Here's the price I can give you. But again, that doesn't mean you can't find something that you like for a price that you like. There's just some things you have to be okay with. And I think the car market, to me, has always been this way. Mm-hmm. What are you willing to give to get the price you want? Right? Are you willing to take more mileage? Are you willing to take that there was a minor accident on the front and that there was a repair, and you might not be happy with the repair and you got to go to your body shop, but you can get it for this price? And when I do the math, I've always had that mindset in the car business, and now I think the consumer is catching up to maybe all along the average consumer's mindset was incorrect in the market.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Nick shared a video with me, not related to cars, but the sentiment was related to cars. And it was the business owner, right, that had that practice. She was like a dentist or whatever. And you and I, dude.
Nuts.
How do you summarize that? Like, from her perspective, a dentist, to what we're seeing with people that own shops, repair shops, all these different kind of.
There's consumer fatigue.
There you go. That's what.
There's consumer fatigue from people in the automotive business. This woman was a dentist with her own practice, basically laying out what's been going on for the last 2 to 3 years with her business. And she's like, I'm done. This practice is going to go away, and I'm in an area where there's not a lot of us, so you're going to lose a provider. And I care about my customers and my clients, and I deal with insurance companies. We shared a body shop story for those of you who've been following us for a little while of one of the best body shops in Vegas, been around 20 plus years. And he just said he had enough. There's consumer fatigue, because what's happening is, let me give people a story in my own life. I have an umbrella policy on my shop, on my business as a whole. Umbrella policies are usually, they're pretty affordable to add another $1 million, $2 million, $5 million to your business. I got a letter from Nationwide Insurance that said it's going to go up. Your insurance could go up 221%. And by the way, sent the email off to my insurance agent. He goes, oh, no, it's going up 221%. They were just kind of trying to be nice about it. You know what he said to me? He goes, rate hikes happen. I said, dude, if you don't want to have an argument right now, I think I would word that a bit differently.
No shit.
5, 10%, 20%, that's a rate hike. Okay? That's an inflation type thing. 221%, no claims. I haven't had a claim in 15 years on my umbrella on any policy. Okay? I say this to people all the time. If you're a consumer and you're not on the other side of being a business owner, you have no idea insurance, leases, building costs, people cost, taxes, the laws changing. You have no idea what's going on in a business. Don't sit there and assume because somebody raises their prices it's because they're greedy. Matter of fact, if people haven't significantly raised their prices in their business over the last 3 to 5 years in the automotive business, they're just a post-it note from going out of business. I mean, they're on their way out of business. I mean, you've got to be up significantly or you're losing money. Yeah. You're losing money on the dollar. You're losing money on the raise of inflation. You're losing the money on all the expenses that have gone up. There is a general frustration amongst all business owners. We're sharing a dentist video that Rob and I saw of all business owners going, the consumer's not catching on. Yeah. The consumer's not understanding. The world's changed. And there's a lot of people that have sucked up those expenses and they're done doing it. And then the way the consumers treat businesses, look, we've tried to tell all of you that are enthusiasts of cars, you better treat those top-end providers in your area well, because if they go away, some of us are screwed. Mm-hmm. And I mean that. You think that it's like just hyperbole and two guys. You and I know great shops that are at their wits' end. They're like, hey, I've been in business 15 years. I don't need this anymore. This and this breaks this way. I'm out. I mean, you're hearing it every day. I'm hearing it every day. We know people all around the country. I know people in other countries. Everyone's saying the same thing.
And then there's another side to that that's really fascinating is the providers that have been in communities for a long time, and the word of mouth is so strong. I'm sure your business is like this. I'm sure your work, whether it's at your shop or just any other work you do outside of your detailing.
Yeah, we don't do any advertising.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get at, right? So I've talked to some shops, one here very recently that's going to probably end up doing some work that we're going to collaborate on the GTI, along with a tuning company that's going to probably collaborate with the show or whatever. We'll get into that when there's more details that we can share. Yeah. But their sentiment is the one of, look, we don't. And when I went in there wanting to purchase services. Like first thing I said was like, hey man, I'm not pitching you in anything. This is going to sound kind of weird. Because as a business owner, and I know, when you've opened a brick and mortar place, and a lot of you people have walked into it, listeners, that person has been called about marketing, SEO, media, ads, improving something in the store, whatever they need repair, all these different things, right? So I always try to disarm the person. I'm like, hey man, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I actually want to buy something from you. But let me give you a quick little background so you know where I'm coming from. And they're usually kind of disarmed at that point. But the shop's been around over 20 years. It's typically been a cycle of 3 guys, dude. The owner, who's a good wrench, the master mechanic, and then the shop manager. These 3 people, in this case, and in some of the cases I've heard recently, maintain a fleet of performance cars and enthusiast cars and regular tune-up kind of cars in these communities, and they're just kind of like, they don't say a fucking word about what they do because they're so good. But even those people, I would beg to wonder, how long can they keep going, at that kind of rate with the way that the world's kind of going?
Yeah, no, it's tough conversations are coming in the automotive world, and they're coming a lot faster than people think. I think this is how I think it's going to play out, and I really don't want to see this, but I think it's inevitable. We're all going to look up 5 years from now, and we're going to have really bad businesses that stick around because most of those people just don't make that much money even when times are good. They just kind of skate by. You and I talk about this offline all the time. And then you're going to have there's already really not that many good shops doing whatever work that they're into. Mm-hmm. Could be tint, could be PPF, could be tuning, could be, mechanics, doesn't matter. That's only 10% globally are great at what they do. And any shop, any dentist, any pilot, there's only 10% that are great.
Right.
And that 10% is going to shrink. And that's the place that's going to shrink because great people are like, I'm just not going to do this. I got a guy that's offered me a job over here. I can go make $150,000, $200,000. He's already offered me that. I'll just go work for him doing this thing. And I won't have any worry in the world. I'll go home at 5 o'clock at night. My family will be happier. We're going to lose more of the top end shops, which sucks because we're going to look up 5 years from now and you could be in a major city, Houston, Vegas, Los Angeles, and you go, man, we got an abundance of great shops. And 5 years from now, you're going to look up and go, I got to drive 2 hours to have. And I just think that's where we're going to end up. I mean, I just don't think, I think there's no avoiding it, actually.
And a lot of these really smart shops that are good at what they did and they were good with money over the last, if they were open 20, 30 years, they took advantage of cheap money they rode the ride up to where they can just leave and not really, it doesn't matter to them. The people that are in the community are the ones that are actually going to quote unquote suffer.
100%. Yeah. I mean, because you think these guys like shut their business and had no money. I mean, the body shop, the guy that shut his body shop, he literally said to me, he's like, I'm good. He goes, plus this other guy wants me to run his shop. He's going to give me $200,000 a year.
Let's go.
He's like, and he goes, I already told him I'm coming in at 9, I'm leaving at 5, and I'm not taking a phone call. So you like look around and you go, you know, his house is probably paid for. You know, he's probably made a lot of money because he was good at what he did.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah, like people don't, and that's what we want to kind of always talk about. This consumer fatigue towards businesses is like a real thing, and I don't want it to be that way, but we've also, and I want to be fair to the consumer, the automotive business across the board has not been honest with you about how much stuff should have cost for the whole time I've been in it. Mm-hmm. I've had the price conversation my entire career. Like people want their whole car sanded or they want a full body PPF and they're like, well, I think it should be like $1,000. It's like, no, bro. I mean, you see this in the paint world. There's people listening to this that custom paint jobs have always been expensive. Right. I had somebody tell me recently, they're like, well, he had a really expensive car, and he goes, I'm just going to have the whole car repainted. I mean, it'll be like $5,000 to $6,000. I'll be like, no, it's like $20,000. And he like looked at me, and I go, bud, it's not $5,000. Like you can go to, you know, a cheap one and but you got a $350,000 car. Like you're talking about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. You're not talking about $5,000.
Dude, it's weird because if you've ever owned a business, and I don't just mean like one online, like not to say that that's not also just a business, because it is, but if you've ever tried to like sign a lease, you know, go through the tenant improvement process, you messed up somewhere, you negotiated something bad, whatever, you're like, oh my God.
Hey, TIs will get you.
Oh, brother in Christ, do they? But you know, it kind of makes you feel bad. So to the point where when I go in there, like I just got the hood resprayed and some things done. The guy was like, "This is what the insurance covers. This is what it's gonna be." In my mind, I'm like, "Dude, I want to pay." In my mind, obviously, I didn't, but I'm like, "I want to pay you more because I know this is like good quality work and it's expensive and you got all this big shop to maintain." But if you've never done that, there's no way you're gonna think that way. You're gonna, of course, try to scrape by and try to save as much as you can. Get the person, beat him down to where he's like, "Yeah, you know, he started at $1,500, but I got him down to $1,100." You feel like you got to win. But at night when you sleep, you got to remember, like, man, he took $500 out of that guy's pocket to do that work. Like,
yeah, and I'll tell you what happens. So we talk to a lot of shops, and I want to share with the consumers out there that have never been behind the curtain. When you beat them down, they're going to cut a corner. Doesn't matter how good the shop is. It's human nature. Yeah. They go, this guy beat me down on price. Speed it up. Do it faster. Do it quicker. Don't fix that. It doesn't, because it's human nature that when somebody has tried to take advantage of you and you've allowed it to happen as a business, you just cut a corner. You cut a corner you wouldn't cut with the customer that paid you the price they should have paid you. And so all these times that the consumer has thought they're winning, they don't realize, like you said, you took money out of someone's pocket, but also that guy's going to cut a corner. We all would do it. It's human nature.
We're going
to make up for it.
Exactly. You know what I got in return? I got some PDR done that wasn't a part of the original thing. I mentioned it to him. I was like, oh, that was there. It was a grocery cart or something. Afterwards, he was like, hey, man, we took care of those spots for you anyway. I was like, oh, awesome, man. I appreciate it. Had no expectation.
And by the way, there is the not beating someone up over price.
Exactly.
They always go that little extra. Mm-hmm. I want people to go the little extra, not cut a corner. So I don't do the haggling thing. I've never, that isn't what I do. Yeah. Okay. I've remodeled several houses. I've shared this before. I've got the same pool company I've had since I've had a pool, which is over a decade. I got the same people that come to my house. I got the same people that do stuff because they know you give me a price. I may say to you, hey, this isn't the right moment for us to spend on that, or you're getting paid what you told me it cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and magically, I have good providers. I have good people around me. Things around my house, things around my business get handled. So all of this haggling a lot of people are doing, and there's some of you listening to this, you do you, it's your money, but you're always getting less of a service. You're getting less good providers. You're getting less people that you can rely on, and that has a cumulative effect. And some of the effect is those businesses that you like doing business with are just going to be gone. That's
it.
the other effect of all of this.
It's true. And well, to put a pin in that, I left even happier when I realized that the guy did something that wasn't supposed to, like, wasn't on the sheet. I was like, oh man, it was so cool of him to just do that anyway. So
Yeah,
everybody won.
100%.
Everybody won. But speaking of things that should and shouldn't cost a certain thing, even though louder for the people in the back, it's their money. Shut up, that kind of thing. Like people leave those comments. Like, what kind of a mush brain person leaves that kind of comment?
I don't know. We should just get on the podcast to be 2 minutes long. Hey guys, spend your money how you want to spend. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Gotta go. All right, look, yeesh, this Integra Type R just sold for $200,000. My friend, it's a US spec Acura Integra, 4,800 miles. What do you make of this on Bring a Trailer? What have we come to?
I don't want to upset the JDM crowd,
Sure.
but that's a high price for a car that I've driven quite a bit in my life. This was kind of big during my era.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, this is a collection piece, and now you basically have somebody betting on the fact that because this is never going to exist again, not meaning this exact car, but the lineage of this car with a manual and everything that it once was, they're betting on the upside of this. Or maybe they just have a lot of money and go, I've always wanted to own one and I'm going to get the best one on the market. I'm going to spend the money and I don't care what they charge me. But I don't make a lot of these except for it's fun to joke about who would pay XYZ for a car. But this is a museum piece. My guess is this guy probably doesn't even end up putting 1,000, 2,500 miles on this thing over the life of owning it. I hope the person always wanted to own it. That's what I always say about these. It never bothers me if somebody doesn't drive the car that they own, okay, because I've been around the collection world. But at least I hope they really wanted to own it, and this was like a dream of theirs. Like, this was a dream car. I had no money back then. I couldn't buy it. I want to own it. That's the best hope for this, right?
Dude, this is the same price as a new 911 GT3, by the way. Like if we're really thinking about it that way, that's really insane. It is number 1,086 of 1,173, if that makes it cooler. I mean, it's noted, so I guess we might as well talk about it. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess.
I mean, you couldn't find probably a worse way for many of us to spend 200 grand. I mean, meaning like if we're all just saying the cool cars we can own for 200 grand, but like this is kind of what we all have come to expect in the last 5 years, right? Which is complete insanity.
Yeah, there was.
Look, we all can say all the things I said are true. I hope the guy wants to own it. I hope it's something, but we also can on the other side go, God, we could own a lot of cool shit for 200 grand.
Dude. Well, I mean, we made a video. Those were real, and some of the B-roll that was in it was prices of like a recent Mecum or something like that. And it was like a Supra for like 106,000. It was like an old, I forgot what it was. It was a Honda Hatch for like 78,000. And somebody commented like, I thought those were like AI videos. And I'm like, no. Like those are what those cars were going for at the time. And it kind of just as an enthusiast makes you think, wow, we're living through some of the wildest price increase times ever. But what do you do?
Yeah, and I just want everybody to understand those. So let's talk about something else that come up. So you see the C8 Z06 is starting to build up on lots. Mm-hmm. You've seen these stories.
Oh yeah, I got it saved in my car gurus, by the way.
Yeah, Corvette guy was telling me the last 5 years, this new C8, it's not going to be like the other Corvettes. They're going to keep their value. No, they aren't. They build a zillion of them. Okay.
Did he say why?
It was well, because remember, the C8 comes out during the boom. Everybody goes, it's a new platform. Look at the prices they're holding, or I sold mine for a $10,000 gain after I drove it. And they believe that the Corvette market had went through some, existential change that was going to be forever. Here we are, 3 or 4 years later. Z06s are piling up. You can get 12,000 off MSRP on average. They can't get rid of them. Now your trade-in of your C8 isn't worth as what it was, and now you're getting real depreciation back in that market. Everything eventually has some type of normalcy re-enter the room. But I will repeat to our crowd, when Microsoft is worth $4 trillion stock price-wise, Acura Integra Type Rs might go for $200,000.
We did have
when the stock market falls 30 and 40%, that car will fall. I don't know how much. I don't have a crystal ball, but it won't be worth $200,000. You'll see normalcy come back to some of this stuff. Guys, as long as asset prices are inflated, cars like this are going to have inflated numbers. And I don't see anybody continually saying that but us. That is what's driving this. Just like it did in the muscle car, when those were hot, just like everything in life in these collector worlds, the watch bubble burst, okay? You've now seen the gray market watches start to come down in price. Everything has its day, and then something pops in that bubble. For cars, it's usually asset prices. The price comes down, and again, this isn't going to be a $20,000 Acura Integra again, but it's also not going to be $200,000 when the stock market's down 50%. So we just got to understand the moment we're in.
Yeah, very much so, because you mentioned watches and there's other things like that. The weird thing about cars is that what we've known as enthusiasts for, let's say, the last 20 to 30 years is changing all together around the world, from the manufacturer side to the governmental side to the actual interest side of things. The number of people who are into cars the way that Nick and I and everybody listening to the show is declining at a rapid pace. So to be selling cars to people that you think are in this big pool of, it just doesn't exist. To sell performance parts, aftermarket care of any sort, that pool is drying up like we're in the desert, like legitimately. So I don't know why nobody's talking about this, because don't get me wrong, as somebody who enjoys it, when I see this next article I'm about to pull up, goodbye GTD, the Corvette ZRX1 or ZR1X and all the other two, they beat the ring, times for Ford. I think that's all great. But at the back of my mind, I'm like, your target consumer base does not care. Right? This doesn't make a splash that it would have made 20 years ago if these things were kind of going on, or 25 years ago. So I'm a little baffled about the stuff, man. I mean, we're going to talk about it because it's cool, but I think like the prices, like the market, like the constant, bringing people down from what services cost, all of those things aren't being talked about, and it's going to be, this sounds so black-pilled, man, but it's going to be like the end of a lot of these markets, because we're not helping prop them back up. We're not we're trying to drive interest, obviously, through the best car podcast on planet Earth. But no one else is really talking about the important stuff, man. It's weird.
Yeah, so I would say this. I've been telling people, you're going to see this muscle car, era is going to come to an end, because the people that are into those things are getting older. They may start liquidating rapidly. You don't know when that could happen. And my generation, I'll speak for me, I'm 43. I don't give a rip about, 70s muscle cars. It's not what I grew up with. I mean, they were cool when I would see somebody have them, when I was younger. But if I have the money now, I'm not going and buying a 70s muscle car, because that's not what was hitting when I was 16, 17, 18, 15, whatever age you got into cars and were able to drive cars. That's not, so you're looking at a car here that was probably purchased by somebody who came of age when that was a car they wanted to own, the Integra, right? That used to be, the Cuda or the Chevelle. Right. And so what do you think is going to happen to the muscle car market when those people start aging out of the market, right? I mean, it's just logic.
Yeah, no, it is. And I want to bring it up just because it's, it's a cool shot, and we got all the Chevy cars here. And I love Ford versus Ferrari, because, this is like one of those competitions.
That's the last movie I saw in the theaters. I was just telling somebody that.
Really? I love the whole thing, like Ford versus Ferrari, or rather, Ford versus Ferrari, and then you got GM and Ford doing their thing right now. And I like how these things are all titled, like goodbye GTD, like Ford's really trying to do XYZ. And it kind of gives you that feeling. But again, everything today, dude, is nostalgia. Everything, the movies, the shows. I mean, they're bringing back all the shows from the 90s, 2000s. I mean, from King of the Hill to possibly Malcolm in the Middle, Married with Children. You got Happy Gilmore 2's on Netflix. You got, Ford versus GM in another kind of light. All of these nostalgic things, they're doing it because that's who kind of has the money right now, is that demographic.
Yes. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, that's a great way of putting it. And here's another thing. Like you said, this Nürburgring thing, it's always a cool thing. You always go, hey, man, that's impressive. But also, everybody has waned out of that mattering on the level that it used to matter. Just like we always make the 0 to 60 jokes.
Yeah.
Okay? I always make the 0 to 60. We've gone past that. So the Nürburgring, for people, the vast majority of people in history have not driven a car on the Nürburgring.
Of course.
Okay? So what's now happened in the social media age is because you see so much stuff about the Nürburgring, it's become less interesting. When you had to read it in a magazine or in an online article and you had to watch a video that somebody produced, now some dude takes his M3 over there, you watch a dash cam of it, you go, I've seen this 100 times, and you get less interested in it.
Yeah.
Right? Just like 1,000 horsepower was this unbelievable thing 10 years ago. Now you're like, that's only 1,000 horsepower? Oh, okay. I mean, thought it'd be more than that.
Every Mexican GTR has 1,000 horsepower,
Yeah, it's like, I thought that would be more, I mean, things just age out, right?
Yeah.
And we always talk about this. It's like, it's so cool that these companies are building these cars, right? GTD and what they're doing with the C8 platform. And it's like, for all of us, we go, wow, that's cool. But in 2 seconds, you're moved beyond it, which that would have been a whole topic for an entire week 10 years ago. Now it's like, oh, cool. And then you swipe.
Yeah,
and you're on the Yeti acting crazy in the woods. I mean, it's like,
the Yeti acting crazy in the woods. You're onto a Yeti in Russia hammering a screen onto his old BMW.
Yeah, I mean,
algorithms going to show him.
And look, the Eastern European bloc never disappoints with car modifications, so I'm always a fan. Never swipe on those. Those are two watches. I watch it twice, then I swipe.
Yeah, again, like, did I really just see what I saw? Let me watch it again. So in that same breath, though, now we have Ford, with some interesting news here. You got Ford says it's made an EV breakthrough, so are lower-priced EVs coming, is the question by Car and Driver. So Jim Farley here, he's talking about, to sum it up, he was saying that the Chinese EVs aren't just like their competitors, they're the benchmark. They're trying to achieve next.
And by the way, I think didn't he drive a Chinese EV for 6 months?
That's why he said it. Yes, that's why he was saying these things, yes. So
I would say this.
Yes.
What do you think? And I'm not real, for anybody out there, I'd love for guys to write in who are maybe in the battery technology world in some way or another, because I know we have listeners that are. What is the next breakthrough? Is it figuring out how to build an EV with a reliable battery that costs $29,900? Or is that because again, don't tell me about BYD's prices on cars. We've already given you why they're they are not a real company in the sense of what you look at Ford and Chevy and VW and all those companies that have to make a profit and show what they make. And I get it. I had somebody say to me, they're publicly traded. I said, yes, on stock exchanges that are controlled by the government that controls the company. Like, let's all be fair here. Like, we got to really start, looking at this seriously. But I just wonder, for those that are in that business, and I don't hear a lot of talk about this, so if it's out there, somebody can forward me the podcast, whatever. What is the real next breakthrough? We all know that the batteries have to have longer ranges. That's obvious. I think dependability is still always on the forefront of the consumer's mind. They still don't believe batteries are reliable, which they may be wrong about, because it seems like that is getting more reliable. What exactly is the breakthrough we're waiting for? What is the watershed moment that everybody in the battery industry goes, when this happens, times change? This is when you can hit hyperdrive. I would be interested in that conversation. Instead, we get all these like zealot type of conversations about how great they are, even though they depreciate 50% of the time. I just think there is an interesting conversation here. I just don't hear it being had because I'm not being educated on what are we waiting on here. What takes this to the level of huge adoption and go, guys, this is now a really smart thing to do?
Yeah, I love those topics. So when this show hits 1 million subscribers and we're getting millions of listens every month, like we do right now on social, but on every YouTube, audio, everything, we'll start doing a whole nother show where we just go deep into these conspiratorial kind of topics about the car world. If you start talking about fractional reserve currency with Nick somewhere and you think it's me, he's not going to interact with you. We're talking about cars here, brother. All right. I know I saw somebody do that, talking about the banking system and fractional reserve currency. And when I was like, oh my God, like I didn't see that before Nick saw it. So I don't know what you said, but I saw that you replied. And I was like, this is not the right place, sir.
I said this is not a banking podcast.
Yeah, I didn't see your reply.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the Federal Reserve and whether or not it should have ever existed or not. We're not going to talk about the history of the Federal Reserve here. No, but I mean, Rob, you got to admit, like you would be interested.
Oh, for sure.
To hear an expert go, okay, here's the honest place we've been, and we understand the flaws of where we've been. But you got to understand, if we keep advancing the technology and it gets to X point. It's sort of like what's happened with nuclear power, right? Like you can have like nuclear power in the palm of your hand now, right? Like there's like these little nuclear, they're like people are saying you're going to end up being able to have like a nuclear reactor in your backyard, basically, if nuclear keeps advancing and whatnot. And again, folks, not a nuclear engineer. It's a soundbite that I've heard. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but you guys get my point. There's got to be a watershed moment here, and I wonder what that is. And I'm genuinely, because I've always been in the middle of this whole thing. I've never been on one side or the other. And then you see the Ford CEO talking about this, and you go, wonder what internally they think is the breaking point to move this thing forward.
I'm going to put everybody on some game if you guys are interested, because we're talking about this a lot when it comes to energy. There's a website called energytalkingpoints.com, and it's run by an author. His name's Alex Epstein. Careful how you say it. Epstein, I forgot. He wrote a book called he wrote a book called Fossil Future. It's fantastic. He keeps up with a lot of this is what his life is. It's just fossil fuels, battery technology, nuclear, all that. EnergyTalkingPoints.com. If you want to go into a rabbit hole of that information, that's a great website to get a lot of resources about it. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I want to find out more about it because you do only hear people talk about service level stuff like speed of charging or how you get the minerals in order to make the batteries and the cost of those things. But there is a level of everything that you just talked about. How can we make it? How efficient is it? What's the cost to the consumer, to the company that we all need to find out?
And it's sort of like this, right? So for everybody that was there during the dial-up internet phase, when your computer made all those funky noises to get on the internet, then once it was easy to get on the internet, you go, oh yeah, the internet's here to stay, right? You go, yeah, well, this makes sense. Yeah, this was what we needed. Yeah. Then Wi-Fi hit, and you're like, oh, this shit's awesome. Yeah. So there was those moments where you got to watch how the cell phones were the same way, right? You had the brick phone, and then you got to where it was small enough to go in your pocket. You kind of knew what the future looked like. Then the iPhone changed it. But there was always these moments that you go, yeah, I understand what they were saying now. I still think in the EV market, nobody's speaking publicly except for saying, hey, so-and-so BYD is making a cheap EV. Cool, man. That is a talking point. But what do you think as an EV expert and a battery technology expert is going to be the real moment that you go, at this point when this happens, and it will happen, XYZ, whatever that is, it's going to be undeniable because you're going to be like, these things are so affordable, they're everywhere, they're ubiquitous. You'll add a third car just to kind of get around town and be so reliable, and it'll be easy to charge just on your home plug. There's going to be something that those people know that just has not been talked about in the car community, and I think that kind of sucks because I would like to know, just because I think it's cool to know what's coming.
Yeah, where's the direction of everything going, right? And also to say, enjoy the moment that we're in, right? And because all of us at one point didn't know when the last time we would hear, you've got mail. One day we heard it for the last time and had no idea.
We had no idea the last time when we would open our mailbox and not get a CD-ROM with 100 hours of, whatever they used to sell. Well, I didn't know when the last time I'd walk to the mailbox and not get a CD-ROM, right? I mean, just think about burning CDs, and now your phone just connects to CarPlay. I mean, even my 2003 Rob, I'm connecting to CarPlay. I mean, I don't know for all you peasants out there that don't have CarPlay.
My favorite word. Not having CarPlay is so pedestrian of you. If your car,
it's unbelievable.
Free or not, you got to have CarPlay. Also, some people do think that it doesn't look as good as you claim that it looks.
Yeah, you're ridiculous.
It's
awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
You hurt his feelings. Whoever said that, you hurt Nick's feelings.
It was. It was. I did get hurt for a minute.
Nick
Let's
said,
say this fairly.
he goes,
I
"This
text
looks
you. I
better
go,
than your
can you believe
Volkswagen."
this guy?
He goes, "It looks better than your Volkswagen." I was like, "That's a goddamn lie. That's not true at all." It does
My
look good.
Volkswagen is crystal clear, brother.
100%. For 2003, it does look amazing. All right, look, we're going to get to a couple of stories here before we land the plane. We got a couple of like 15 or so minutes. The 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, dude, Trail Edition. It's channeling the brand's off-road roots. Do you think they're doing this because of the Montero to come, or because they're not going to make a Montero and instead they're just going to keep doing Outlander?
No, they're making this because everybody's doing it. That's why. They're doing it because anytime you put trail on something, they're going to get sales out of it. I would say this. I'm still baffled by the lack of popularity of Mitsubishi in the United States, because I grew up at a time when you saw Mitsubishis around. You know, the Galant, the Eclipse. I mean, they were just kind of like a ubiquitous car that was around. I think if they bring the Montero, it seems like they're investing in the U.S. consumer for the first time in a while. That looks pretty damn good.
I agree.
They still have a front grille problem, no?
Yeah, it still looks very 2012, 2010.
Yeah, we maybe can like reduce the size of that Mitsubishi logo a little bit. Like, it's not a Rolls Royce, dude. Maybe diminish that a little bit.
It looks like it's a Power Ranger about to have a power come out of the front of the grill or something.
Wow. Hey, that's a throwback. There's a 22-year-olds are like, what's this goofy old dude talking about?
Love Power Rangers. What are you talking about?
Yeah, look, man, I actually think that looks pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. This looks better than the Nissans. I do get like roguish kind of Pathfinder vibes, but this looks better in my opinion.
See, I was getting that Hyundai front end with those side lights.
Yeah, it's true too. Yeah, it is kind of Kona-ish. You're right.
Yeah, no, I would say this though. I hope they just seemingly gave up on the American consumer and what they wanted. When you start to see that they're going to bring out trail editions, let's all be clear. I know it's not going to be the most outfitted trail edition, but it shows they're making an effort back into the U.S. market. And if the Montero's coming back, I got to root on Mitsubishi, because I still love the Montero, dude.
Well, like, Nick doesn't like buying new cars. Like a lot of us, I think we understand. We talk about depreciation and the cost of it and all that. But is that one of those cars you might consider like new to new-ish if it checks all the boxes?
I'm telling you right now, if I could find one with like 25,000 miles on it, I'd be a heavy bidder. Really? Heavy bidder. Yeah. The problem is there wasn't a lot of survivors of those. They were pretty beat up. Yeah. If I could find a real mint Montero, would I have to really take a look at what I want to do? Yeah. Look, I've been telling you, I'm kind of scouring again.
For what?
I kind of want to scratch that Gen 1 Raptor itch.
Dude, I see so many people, because I told you I have it saved as well, and people in the comments because I watch a lot of videos, people that are getting Raptor Rs are in the comment section of Raptor R videos saying, I still miss my Gen 1. Man, I love the Gen 1. I had the Gen 2. Yes. It was okay. Didn't really like the motor, but love every single one of them talk about how much they love the Gen 1.
Like, dude, I've been in like government auctions because Gen 1s were used by Border Patrol. I don't know if a lot of people knew that.
Yes. Yeah.
I've scoured to say I might buy a Gen 1 from Border Patrol. Like, I've been deep down that, like, oh, it's got 150,000 miles on it. Yeah, it's been kind of beat up, but I can take it. I can get it for a price. I can get the suspension rebuilt. Like, yeah, man, I've been down the Gen 1 from a nice one on a dealership, nice one private sale, all the way to, man, I wonder what the Border Patrol has going on liquidating these.
This might be a time to hit up my old buddy Chief Roy. I don't know if you ever saw Chief Roy. He was on Theo's podcast. I know him really well. I'm going to text him. I'm going to be like, hey, bro.
Yeah, be like, hey, anywhere in secret you guys got some Gen 1s hanging out? He'll be like, what are you talking about?
He's by you, actually. He used to run the Yuma part of the border. So, but Arizona, not too far.
I can go to Yuma pretty quick. I'll be like, is there like a warehouse everyone's unaware of that you guys would take a payment for a Gen 1 with some green stripes on it?
Bro, you think I'm playing? I'm going to text him right after this. Like, bro, anywhere I can find a Gen 1?
You're like, hey, I know we haven't talked in a minute and you got a lot going on, but let me bend your ear about some Gen 1 Raptors. He's like, who is this? Wrong number.
No. He'll remember. Okay. All right. Note to self, we're going to find Nick a Border Patrol Gen 1 Raptor. Can you imagine driving down the strip in that? Don't even change any of the exterior.
Just Be like, man, this suspension's real beat up.
Yeah, but also at the same time, what's worse, driving a Cybertruck or driving that down the strip?
Oh, I got to share this on stories. Everybody go follow us on Instagram. I had the PLP. So our rules about PLPs, they're either bad or you're in on the joke, right? Like that's basically what a PLP is. The dude had refrigerator as his PLP. I was like, congrats, brother. What a great PLP.
Funny. That is so silly. That is the best. That's a person with a good sense of humor, I hope.
I hope.
Yeah, or he has some really bad friends. All right, I got one more. I got a couple more for you here. I know you're a Subaru fan. You've had some good and bad luck with Subarus. So we're coming into the 2026 Subaru Impreza. Ditches the base model, raising entry price more than $2,000. That's not the best move for Subaru, in my opinion.
That's got that like Ford Focus look to it, no?
It does. It does. It's a little bit of the Hyundai hatchback as well.
What have you thought about these?
I mean, I don't ever give them a second look.
I don't either.
I just can't.
Impreza is one of those things that seems like you're into or you aren't.
And those that are into it, I guess like most things, I mean, they die by the sword.
Yeah, and I understand that. I'll say this: it's kind of cool they did it in that green color.
You like that? I'm very surprised. I was for sure gonna
Well,
say it's diarrhea.
yeah.
Diarrhea green.
I mean, it's not the best green. I get that, but I'll say this: of all the boring colors people put on photos, I mean, it's nice to see somebody doing something different.
Yeah, citron yellow pearl is what it's called, and I do kind of like it. Volkswagen has a similar color. There's one on an RS6 that also have kind of a similar color. I like loud colors. Are you? I know you like black. We kind of like the staples. But
Yeah,
are you a fan of loud colors?
I like when car companies offer. I mean, look, what's the blue that Ford started to do years ago that was good.
Yes.
It was like that. What was that? That electric blue color or whatever they called it. Mm-hmm. You and I have talked about when they brought the like chalk gray color that hit kind of hard. It was kind of unique at the time.
Yep,
You got the moon rock or whatever it's called, the lunar rock color. Those are still bland colors, but at least they were something different. Yeah, man. Only color I'm kind of out on, unless you're driving a certain level of vehicle and it's done well. I just think yellow's kind of not ever really my thing.
That's how I feel about yellow and red.
Red, really?
Yeah, I hate it. Unless it's like a deep crystal metallic kind of a red. I like the bright red.
So
no
Ferrari red?
I was gonna say no offense, sorry behind you. I can't do it. I just don't like it at all.
Ferrari red with the tan. That's ludicrous. I've heard some things in my day, Rob. I've heard some things in my day, my friend. I mean, that is like the classic. What are we talking about here?
I mean, I like the black with the cognac interior better.
Somebody get your boy. Hey, write in. I don't. We got to blow the email up this week. clutchculturepod@gmail.com. What the hell?
People can't think we agree on everything. We do not agree on red for sure.
No, but here's the deal. I am with you. Seeing companies do unique colors is something I do like to see, whether I like the color or not, because everything is white, gray, black. I mean, they've kind of monochromatic the parking lot everywhere you go. It's pretty nice to see. I don't care if I like it. I guess that's my whole point. If it's different, I just go, hey man, at least they're doing something different.
Okay, what about that blue that was on the GTD that Chris Harris and the I forgot the race car driver they were driving? It's like an electric blue, but like a really unique electric blue.
Yeah, I like that. Did they have Verstappen out there?
That's who it was. Yes.
Hey, they're just like, hey, you want to drive this around?
Dude, yeah, like I saw part of the video and he just kind of looks at it, kind of takes like a 5-second, like he just starts to like pretend like he's gonna like practice or whatever, and then he's just going. And Chris Harris is like, "Is this you essentially like giving it a stroll?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's just like hanging on for dear life. It was pretty cool.
So, what's your opinion on Chris Harris?
I've always said this. I am a fan of Chris Harris. When it comes to cars, if he's talking about anything other than cars, I don't tend to care.
I agree.
His opinion, considering.
Well, no, I don't know about his other opinions. I've only seen his car opinions. So, in all fairness, I don't know what you're talking about the other ones.
Sure,
but
yeah.
Chris Harris,
yeah,
I've always enjoyed.
Always.
There's something about him like driving a car around. Like he did the M5. I think he did the new M5 was the last video that I saw, which was quite a bit ago. And he was just kind of like driving around the streets.
So well.
Driving some back roads. I was like, damn, this guy is so talented at just talking. And I don't think, for anybody that's never talked to a camera, and drove around. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's not easy. And he's like exceptionally good at it. And he's one of the few people I can watch do that, just so everybody knows. The rest of the people I can't stand listening to, he is 100% a guy I'm like, he's pretty fucking interesting.
It is deceptively hard to do that. And, it sounds silly, I'm sure, when people are hearing, but if you do it, go put your phone up. Go put a suction mount, put your phone on you, and start talking about whatever it is you're driving.
And then go listen back to it.
And
you'll be like, what the hell was I doing?
You're going to burn it. You're not even going to delete it. You're going to burn the phone, and no one's ever finding this file. I don't care if it's in the trash can or not.
Yeah, I know. I do want to tell, because people always ask, like, hey, what are you watching? Who do you like? Look, there's two winners that are guaranteed for me, and everybody that knows me will know this. Harry's Garage, and I can listen to Chris Harris talk about cars when he's driving them around. Harry's Garage is the tip top for me. That's like the one guy. We know we like our guy Vin. He's exceptionally talented, but Harry's Garage just can't miss for me.
Okay. I honestly didn't start watching Harry's Garage till Nick. That's how much I know that Nick enjoys that content, because he was the one that recommended it. Like, you really got to check
because here's what I like about it. That dude is himself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, he's driving this Ferrari to the Swiss Alps for a vacation, and he's just like bringing you along, and he doesn't care that he's going to the Swiss Alps, which you're never going to go to the ski chalet that you're never going to be in. Right. And he's just like himself. He's like, this is what I do. Yeah. Be a part of it, or don't. But this is what I think. And I will say this. He kind of always tells people, and I think this is what's missing from a lot of this content. He's like, I talked to such and such directly, and this is what I said, and this is, so he kind of lets you know, like, I am talking to the people at this car company, and I am telling them what I'm telling you, which I can tell you is not happening with everybody, right? So what I think is unique is he's got this long history in the car world, especially from the media side of things, and he is so unapologetically he's like, I can't fit my skis in this, so this isn't, and I'm going, dude, nobody's going to the Swiss Alps with this vehicle. Like, but you are doing it because you're like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
You're going to like it or you aren't. And I dig people that are just like, hey, this is how I am. If you don't like it, like, he just doesn't apologize. It doesn't even give it a thought. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's good when somebody they know what they're doing, and that is making a product for you to consume in a way that you'll never actually probably physically consume it. Like, you're going to watch it, yes, but you're not going to go do it. Like you said, you're not going to go to the Swiss Alps. You're not going to be in this car. You're not going to be in this scenery. You're not going to have this level of understanding of where you are and what you're driving. So I applaud that. I think that's great.
I do too, man. And he's like, hey, when we went through this tunnel and we hit traffic, it's like, nobody's there, dude. Like, we're not going to be there. Like, but he just explains things. And I want people to know I'm very hard on myself for how we do the podcast and the videos that I produce, and Rob knows that. It is so hard to speak on camera if it's not something you've done in your life. That when I see somebody just like good at it, I go, man, that's cool. Like, I wish I had that talent.
I enjoy nothing more than to tell Nick, just keep doing what you're doing. You're going to get really good. Because already you're natural just by podcasting. But when you throw the camera in front of the microphone, it does kind of change like what you're doing.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I've been podcasting for 10 years. Why do all of a sudden you put a camera in front of me and I can't do the thing? And
hey, Rob hears a lot of F words. Oh. Oh
my God. Take two.
Rob here's a lot of that.
Again. We're going to shoot that again. It's so funny.
Hey, delete this one. Delete this one. Yeah, dude, it's a lot. But I'd be interested. We haven't really asked our audience. You guys can DM us or email us. I am kind of looking for car content you guys like. I mean, we want you to consume ours, but we also want to be like, hey, man, there's people out there doing good stuff. Mm-hmm. There's people out there that we want to be like, hey, they're doing good stuff. And Chris Harris is one of those guys for me. I'm not a Top Gear guy. That's not my entrance into this business. Obviously, they had a huge global impact, and I'm happy for all those people. Who's the guy that has the farm?
The guy that has a farm.
Is it Clarkson or whatever his name is from Top Gear? What was his name?
Oh, it might be
Jeremy Clarkson.
Is it Jeremy Clarkson? Either way.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, one of my favorite Harry's Garage videos is when they're on this dude's farm talking about old Range Rovers. And they're like, this was a good one, and that was a bad one, and why'd you sell this one? And I was like, yeah, this is what you would do if these were your friends. Like, this is exactly the conversation we'd be having on this guy's farm.
Oh, funny. It is Jeremy Clarkson. He owns and operates Diddly Squat Farm.
Yeah, now, I don't enjoy his car stuff, but the stuff I've seen, like, around his farm, when car guys go out and visit him, he is wildly entertaining on that farm. I never really resonated much with him like I do Chris Harris. When I see Chris Harris just driving around in a car, I'm not saying Jeremy's not good at it. He's obviously very good at it. But there's something about him on that farm talking to another car guy. They're just talking about random. He's like, look at this tractor. And look, I'm like, okay, I can get it. I can watch this for 5 or 10 minutes.
Dude, I love that too. It's so weird. I was running some errands, and I was thinking to myself how like we could just, and you and I before we started the podcast could do this about anything. We even though we don't. I mean, I don't know if you like motorcycles a whole lot. I like them, but I'll never buy one. I don't really care to go like riding a motorcycle into the hills or whatever.
Yeah, I ride a motorcycle every now and then.
Oh, do you? Okay, I had no idea, but like it still interests me. Like I watch people talk about motorcycles, tractors, off-road stuff, ATVs or whatever. It's just something about that whole world of engines and cars and wheeling and turning stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Speaking of crashes, the all-terrain vehicle market is coming back to earth with the RV market. So when I say things normalize, folks, the side-by-side market was not going to be as elevated as one time. So like a lot of this stuff. No, but I grew up dirt bikes. I got in a very serious dirt bike accident in my life, like very serious. Was unconscious for 24 hours. Serious. So yeah, I mean, for everybody listening, that's what I'm gonna when somebody goes, hey, I don't like this take, I'm gonna be like, I got in an accident, right? But no, dude, I loved everything about dirt bikes and there was farmland where I grew up and a lot of places to ride. And I'll say this to anybody: motorcycles are one of those things that I really appreciate people that just go, hey, I'm going to always ride my bike. I'm going to do it all the time. It's one of those things I kind of had to give up. It didn't really fit my personality. I was a little irresponsible. I put myself at a lot of risk. I really enjoy seeing a cool bike. It's still one of those things that I go, I see it in a parking lot or I see it, at a gym or whatever when you're walking in, I go, man, I could really get one of those. And then I just had to put it out of my brain.
Yeah, dude. I was so happy when I was able to convince my dad to sell his Harley. I was like, dude, you're getting too, in my mind, I'm like, this guy's getting way too old to be doing what he's doing. And finally,
but here's the crazy thing. You do respect those guys that just ride and ride and ride. It's I think that's the coolest shit in the world.
I totally get it. And I got it. And, it's not like, yeah, I guess I did. I felt bad, but it's just one of those things. Most older dudes, military men with a certain kind of personality don't like to be told what to do. Don't like to be trying to convince them, don't convince them that this is a good or bad idea. But if you can finally do it, especially if it's a parent or a relative, you're like, bro, like you got to stop riding this thing around. Like,
yeah. And by the way, that happens like minute one when I'm on a bike, and people are like, because I've had some buddies that have lost their life, and if anybody has seen that sports bike, where guys are doing massive tricks in a group and they're doing all that stuff. I have buddies that were deep into that world. I enjoyed that stuff. I enjoyed the insanity of that stuff and how cool it was, and still to this day enjoy it. But I'm one of those people. It's not the right fit for my personality. I will 100% have something bad happen because I tried to do something I shouldn't have done. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing a helmet, because guess what? At a certain speed, it's a wrap. It's it's all gonna end. So, but I'm like you. I think they're cool as shit. Like, especially like for me, we got a Ducati. Got a lot of Ducatis around my area because we used to have a really big dealership. And there's something about listening to a Ducati, seeing a Ducati, a guy that has taken care of it of any year. I'm like, doesn't matter if I was into it. Doesn't matter if I would buy one or you would buy one. That's one of those bikes I just go, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I had a friend, we kind of grew up in similar areas, but like you had a couple of fields you would go into work and make a lot of money, right? It was like oil, ironworking, whatever. So getting out of high school and some of these friends that went into those industries and started making a lot of money early on. And that's the first thing I bought was Ducatis, Hayabusa, like expensive bikes. And I'm just like, very cool.
Hey, do you remember seeing the first Hayabusa and you're just like, I don't know what is going on here? Yeah. You're just like, what is this thing?
Yeah, I had to wait.
And I had friends that were like, "Oh, I don't have a 600. That's for girls." I'm like, "Damn, dude, you just learned to ride like 7 minutes ago."
Aggro from day one, isn't it?
Hey, have you seen the video of the guy who got? I think he got a 1,000. He just got his license and he drove it up into that dude's front yard and hit the car and hit the house.
Oh, dude. He comes out. Yeah, he comes out. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" He's like,
dude, okay? Greatest video I've seen in 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was so good. That's so funny. Yeah, the guy was so nice. Like first he goes out there like, "What's going on?" And then he's like being caring, like, "Hey, sit down." Like that guy hit awful hard.
That dude did not know where the brake was at all.
No, he didn't know where his stomach was either. He got up, just told himself, I lost all his breath. Just brutal. All right, guys, we're going to land the plane here. Fun episode. We'll get back to some listener questions next week. So if you want to email us, clutchculturepodcast@gmail.com. If you want to submit a question. Nick, anything for the people on your end? We got some really cool Jeep 392 stuff that you've been working on. So if you want to go to the
with the performance exhaust upgrade on that 392, we got the sounds, we got the exhaust. If you guys want to check that out, Hyper Clean store. No, man. I mean, email Rob about his Ferrari red and tan interior take. I'd love to hear how silly you guys think that is. One of the most classic color combinations to ever exist in the car world. He's like, nah, man, looks like crap. I'm like, whoa.
I didn't say that. That's a lie. That's a lie. Time out real quick before we do land the plane fully. I will say that I did see a video not too long ago about what it costs to get that Ferrari paint etched, whatever,
Yeah.
Car. Is it like 10 or 15 grand or something?
It was like 10,500 or something.
Something like that, right? Well, when I saw the full process, like I actually watched how long it took to put that on there. You got to appreciate stuff like that.
Again, go to Harry's Garage when he had the Purasangwe. He could have told you what that option was. That's why you love Harry's Garage. He's standing in his garage going, with all the options, I'm about to drive to the Alps. I mean, look, just to get this Insignia is, 10,000.
What am I doing in my life? All right, I'm going to go subscribe to Harry's Garage right now, right after this. I appreciate it, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.